Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have Rose T. Crawford joining us here today as a therapist at Piedmont Walton Hospital. We're going to get to know her, all the work she's done, all her accomplishments, and of course, why she loves doing what she does. So, welcome to the show today. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Rose. First and foremost, tell us how we can contact you. Would you mind sharing whether it's a website or phone number or web page? What would you like our listeners to have?
You can contact me at Rose Runner, Rose Runner, like in running, Runner, at Windstream, WINDSTREAM.net.
Perfect. And want to confirm that that's Rose Runner, ROSERUNNER at windstream.net. So WINDSTREAM.net, correct?
Correct.
Beautiful. Well, we are excited to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have been in the medical field for approximately 46 years. I am a respiratory therapist at Piedmont Walton Healthcare. I've did this all my life, and I consider it as a ministry. I live here in Walton County, Monroe, Georgia, the South. I started my career in 1975 as a on-the-job trainee. I was born here in the county, but I was raised by my mom because my dad was assassinated when I was 4.5 years old. And I say this because during my childhood, we lived in kind of like oppression and a lot of grief, a lot of fear because my mom was devastated, and so was we. At that time, it was 7 other siblings.
Yeah.
So I say this to let you know how I actually got into my career. So at that time, it was really like a survival mode and not a lot of self-confidence.
Yeah.
After I graduated from high school, being just who I am was effeminate and a little cutie in the family.
Mm-hmm.
After, it's always a white sheep, black sheep, or whatever. So
Yeah.
I was a 7th child. So I went to modeling school, Barbizon School of Modeling with
Oh,
choice. Came back, decided to join the Georgia National Guard, United States Army.
yeah.
And after training, came home and wasn't certain what I wanted to do. And my mom said, go out to the hospital. They needed someone. At this time, really hadn't pursued my education.
Mm-hmm.
To the hospital, and they was starting initiating the Department of Respiratory Therapy. So I was the first Black respiratory therapist there. And sometimes mom knows best, and it started from there. After 5 years, the school opened in the nearby city of Athens, Georgia, and it was the first class. It was the course, the profession was initiating. So I was able to go to school from the government by a plan called CETA at that time that paid for my school and my gas, child care, and all the fees and everything. But just, I have never doubted or never disliked any phase of what I do. So it was just a calling. I did other things. I um, sold real estate for 4 years, but
Wow.
it's my love. It's my purpose. Is taking care of sick people. Sometimes we consider making big bucks, and nothing wrong with that because right now, as I
Yeah.
go into retirement, I am gonna launch a business on the media because I am a licensed minister,
Oh
gospel.
my goodness.
And I don't go around saying that because you need to see a Christian instead
Yeah.
of saying that you are. So I do plan to develop a platform soon. But I'm a registered respiratory therapy. Later on, I went to school and advanced my career, but I take care of sick lungs.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. So you are so giving, so selfless. And you mentioned this career that you've had for quite a few years. Let me ask you, who inspired you, would you say, to do this? Was it just your own instinct to get into the field? Was there anyone else in the family that you looked up to that, inspired you to get into medicine?
No, it was really my mother. It was my mother. And once I got there, of course, it was just like I had a knack for it. And I
Mm-hmm.
gained a lot of respect for just caring for people and just fitted the job. And I've been doing it ever since. I worked at other hospitals, just to get a feel and to gain different level of experience. But
Yeah.
it's no place like home once you acquire your experience and it all kind of work together. It's like how busy you want to be or whatever. But home is convenient for me. It's
Yeah.
short time to get there. I know everybody, and at this point, I would consider myself an expert, and the job is so easy, because I've been doing it a long time. But yet, I have never regretted taking care of the sick.
Ah. And let me ask, so specifically the work that you're doing and obviously where you're based. So you're working with those strictly in the Monroe, Georgia area, or are you also doing virtual work as well?
Just in the Monroe area, Piedmont have 16 other hospital, neighboring hospital. I have worked at other location, but right now I'm based in Monroe, Georgia, and I mainly do emergency care and intensive care.
And the types of people that are in need, you have to be so selfless to give to someone like that because you're also working with their families, and it's not easy to have a family member who's sick. I personally took care of my mom 7 years ago. She was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and she was lucky to have a year and a half, and of course being the last 6 months with me in my home was very difficult, but it's something that I honestly, I loved. It was the most amazing thing to give back, but it's not easy. And how do you stay so strong for these family members around, the people, your patients?
Well, I had a coworker that I've been working with for my whole duration of 32 years back at Piedmont locally. I have about 46 years of experience, but she was describing me and she said, Rose treat from the heart. So when I go in, I think I'm pretty much on autopilot now. I have a love of people and respect for people in general. So when I treat the patient, I'm also treating the family. And when you just have the utmost respect and the love of people, it come easily. So back in the day, I feel like the medical field was considered as a ministry, and it still is. But a lot of people get their um, choosing a career for comfort and for because it's a job on demand. You're always gonna need teachers, law enforcement, nurses. So I'm saying that sometimes people a percent getting in the field for security reasons, and nothing wrong with that. We all need
Yeah, yeah,
jobs. But back in the day, looking back, it was really a calling. You didn't see people that just not dislike their job. I could define the difference, from here and there. So it just come autopilot now for me. I mean, yeah, I was got a compliment by a patient here in town because they were just amazed why I knew them for the love and the support that I gave to the wife and the family. But it's like, well, I know that you're good people. I mean, they're good people. I treat everybody the same, maybe go an extra mile to some, but they were just like me. They were just good
yeah,
people. I already, and I had so much respect for them, and they had so much respect for me. So it was just easy to go out of my way and embrace them. And when you losing your loved one or you got someone that's sick, your health is your wealth.
yeah.
It's it's a hesitation. It's a pause in your daily living. So To
Oh
me,
my
if you
goodness.
feel, it just kind of come natural.
Well, I would like to hear specifically, some of the things that you're doing specifically with your patients. What types of, ailments are we talking about, people that you're working with?
Okay. Well, like yesterday, about 8:50. I keep track of my time. I got a call to the emergency room. Say, Rose, we have a code blue coming in.
Mm.
Arrival time is about 15 minutes. I bought
Yeah.
coffee. When I go in, the vast majority, 75, no, 80% of the time, I'm assigned to the emergency room.
Okay.
I work 2 days emergency room and the other day intensive care, just to keep the skills a little bit switched up. But you never know what's coming in. So we have a patient that came in, code blue. So we know what code blue means. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it regardless how long you've been doing it, you get that adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
I mean, we get it all. We get, just like you see on the TV, of course, the TV is a mimic of real life. We get children. Of course, we stabilize the children and send them to a
Yeah.
hospital. You get people that come in uh, because the doctor's office is closed or couldn't get appointments. So we get band-aids type therapy also, but I never know what I'm going to walk into. And the county is really growing a lot. And we are trauma certified. We seeing much more trauma, was a car wreck or laceration to the arm. I mean, you name it. I say it all. So I never know,
Yeah.
what. So I'm just in that mode of emergency and treat. Of course, everywhere throughout the world, you have non-compliant patients too, and you have to treat them just the same.
Mm-hmm.
All growing, and we all have deficit where we don't get there and just can't get it right. You see me laughing. Be perfect people and eat what we should and do the way we should, and
Yeah.
there you go. So you treat those patients too that really can't help themselves. They can, but they don't. You dare to do a job. And Piedmont had a slogan during COVID time afterwards, how do we keep these
Yeah.
people, how do we keep them? They're so burnt out. So the slogan was, I came for the job, but I stayed for the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought that I would witness COVID-19.
Was gonna ask. Tell me what that was like.
I mean, pretty much, I was in my little silent shock. I mean, I worked 6 days a week for 2 months. I mean, on demand. And I can remember the first couple of weeks, it hit New York first, the
Yeah.
north, and it came down. So, looking at TV, like we are devastated,
Yeah.
a traveling cloud. So once we got there, I won't say that we was prepared, but we kind of knew what to expect. But being a single woman living, well, anyway, I would come home every day and I would lay down. I would wonder if, did I get it? Did I get it?
Mm-hmm.
Because, COVID is an incubation period. They say about 3 to 4 days, after you catch it, that it come to fruition, that it rise. So I would go home and I would just wonder, did I,
Yeah.
and shut up in the rooms, and it's like, well, there's a deadly virus in the air, and seeing people my age, it was target toward people that had comorbidities and people of age past 60. So here I am right on the front line. Because of my expertise, I they really gave it to me, and I knew I could do the job. So front line was put very minimal for me at that time. But COVID it was devastating. Uh, you come in where grandmoms has caught it from their kids, and grandmom didn't make it out the hospital. And you knew the trend if that came in with certain symptoms like a low O2 level. You had the
Yeah.
symptoms, you knew you could just like, oh my God. You come in, they came in, they're not gonna make it back home.
Hmm.
It's just a repeat of what we saw and what the world witnessed. And it was just so sad to come in and see people just actually just dying, and yeah, that was something that I would never forget. And it was a very depressing time for me. Yeah.
I
But
mean, and then all that burnout and all all the trauma. I had girlfriends in the hospital, nurses, doctor friends, and they talked. I'm going to be honest about all the dead bodies they had to put in trailers at the hospital, and it was just like something out of a movie. You would never think in this day and age something like this would happen, and how I got goosebumps, how that affected so many of the staff, let alone the families. But how traumatizing to have to deal with this in this day and age. I just, my heart goes out to all those in the medical field that you all had to deal with this.
exactly. Well, I would say God is a good God, that He gave us the strength and the love in our hearts to do it. Because, I mean, you had a lot of people, excuse me, that jumped ship. And that was nationwide too. A lot of people just couldn't take it, and they just gave up their career. So my hat's off for the love of the people in the medical field that stood there and put their life on the line. Not on the medical field, but all people that serve people and came in contact with the virus. But yeah,
Wow. Well, let's remind everyone how we can reach out to you. Would you mind sharing your email address again? Any other form of contact before we continue?
I have launched a new email.
Oh, no, it's
Just
okay. The same one. We just got to, if people are just tuning in, I want them to know we're talking to Rose T. Crawford. Can I give them the same email from before?
you can.
Great. Roserunner at windstream.net. That's ROSERUNNER at WINDSTREAM.net. And now tell me more about the Piedmont Walton Hospital, where you work. How many years have you been there specifically?
I've been there for 32 years, but the hospital has changed name quite a few times. I think Piedmont, we was bought out by Piedmont approximately 12 years. If you just wanted to be exact, you could always put in Piedmont Healthcare System. So it hasn't always been Piedmont Healthcare. Like I say,
Mm-hmm.
it has about 16 or 18 hospitals. I probably should know exactly, but Piedmont bought us out approximately 12 years ago. But I have been at that location for 32 years. It's home. It's easy. They say works smarter instead of harder. My resume it looks good and I could work other places, but I know how it goes. It's like, how hard do you want to work? Or, it's just all in what you want to do. I mean, why not service my own people? Someone has to. So right now, I choose local, but I do have other business adventure I will be putting on a platform. So I'm gonna get back with you. So you all just look out. I have something.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And what do you want your listeners to know for today? Being this is our first show like this, I know we're going to have some more shows, which is great, about you and your services and your amazing compassionate care.
I would say ask yourself what you really want to do. A lot of time, people say find purpose, you should know your purpose. But excuse me, sometimes that's not always the case. We all need money. I'm sorry. But find something that's gonna make a lot of money, if that's a big priority to you. But find something that you really enjoy doing. I expressed to Jill, I can honestly say I have never regretted being a respiratory therapy. I sold real estate. I could do a lot of things. At this point, what can't you do? I mean, we live in a society that it's just wide open. But find something, choose your career wisely, what you really enjoy doing. What you give, it'll give back to you. So
Oh,
choose not just the money, but what is going, what you really going to enjoy doing. I mean, people ask me, "Oh, Rose, when are you going to retire?" This is year 46 of healthcare, and I chose healthcare over real estate. Did very well.
yeah.
I could be a personal trainer. I was a personal trainer for a short while, but I actually enjoy doing what I'm doing, and it makes it easier. It's less stressful. You
Well,
can come.
that is beautiful. They continue to help so many people. And what a great lesson today for us to really do something we love and care about. And, life is too precious, too short. It's not about the money. It's not about the things you can't take with you when you're gone. It's about what you do here on your earth and to help people find their life purpose like this. And I'm 46 and I'm thinking about going into a career of nursing. My degrees are in something totally different, but I'm thinking I would love to help people myself. And I've been thinking about this. I have a 7 and 9-year-old. A career that could be meaningful. I mean, I love what I do here, but it's just something I've been thinking about doing on the side to, yeah, to try out. I've always wanted to be in the medical field, and you're inspiring me today.
Well, the field is wide open, and there's so much to do. I mean, you could be in the
Yeah.
administration, you could be a flight nurse, you could fly, critical patient from here to there. From
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's endless of the things that you could do in the medical field. It's not just being a primary nurse. You could be anesthesia. I mean, it's wide open.
Oh,
But
well,
do what stay in your lane, enjoy what you enjoy doing.
yeah. Yeah, well, that's always important. And we got to live our best lives and live it each and every day as if it's a gift. Now, let me ask you, what do you do for you? Who does for you? You do for so many people. Do you do anything for yourself? Where does your self-care lie?
I've always been athletic inclined. I ran a couple of marathons
Oh,
way back in high school. I was a sprinter, but after high school, after I had one son, I got into long distance running. So I ran 2 marathons, would run the Peachtree Road Race in Atlanta for several years. I still work out, weightlifting, and I still power walk. I enjoy gardening. So I work my gardens here. It's hot now. Um, Hard for everything to survive, including plants. I like birds, listen to the birds, have lots of bird houses out. I have siblings still in the local area, if not in the local area, in the nearby vicinity. I have a granddaughter. She's 6 years old, precious. One son, and one granddaughter. I have a daughter-in-law. There are still six sisters
yeah,
living. So yeah, and I like quiet time, where I can reset myself. So I go to the
beautiful.
movies, go to church, it's a lot to do. But just be
Yeah.
on the lookout. I will communicate with me, and be on the lookout for my new platform. It's time. It's time. I have a lot to give.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here, for joining us, and for enlightening us today. How did you want to leave off with your listeners? Any special quote or any words of advice?
Live your best life, just as you say, Jill, and do unto others as you would do unto them, because karma is real in a good sense. I mean, whoever thought I'd be talking to you? I thought, like, do I want to do this, and that? And right quickly, I think the way you got into contact with me was just an article from Black History at the hospital, and a journalist, that particular journalist did such a great job. Journalists read different article from town, country, and I have been spotted from that article because it was so good. My head's off to the journalists, even myself. But I think it was like what I had put out came back to me. I've got a lot of recognition just from a Black History article because I had did so much in a small town.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. One more time, tell us how we can reach you, please.
Rose, Rose, Runner, Runner, at Windstream, WINDSTREAM.net.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We are so excited to have you here and looking forward to the next, conversation we have. Really, thank you for being so open, so caring, so compassionate, and pleasure getting to know you here today. And we'll be back, I guess, again next week. Thank you, Rose.
All right, thank you, Jill.
You have a fantastic day. And to all of our listeners and viewers, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more. See you next week.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.